Life. I wonder. I don't know why I'm always the one singing.
Girl.
Honestly, these poor people. Look at me.
Go ahead, girl. Why did that go? Go ahead and do you.
Listen, I absolutely love this song. It is clear this is our theme song. If you don't
it's who we
know,
are.
please let him know. Like, we want to rule the world with him.
Absolutely.
Let's do it, okay? We are ruling the world. All right.
Hey.
You know we gotta wait till it gets to the part. That's
what we're still doing this.
I decided, let us do the whole first verse.
Why not?
I rule the world. I free all my sons. Loving them, baby. That's so fly.
Yo, give us the Grammy already. What are you waiting for? I will hold the Grammy. Right? Give us the Grammy.
Hello, everyone. If you are joining us, thank you. We had to shoot the show early because my lovely co-host will be on set tomorrow. What are you guys going to be doing on set? What show is this?
So this is called...
can we say?
I don't know.
I'm scared of lawsuits, y'all.
Well, they will be on the show.
We will be on the show.
And they'll be taping tomorrow.
Yes.
Hence why we are coming early. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks so
we
much,
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
This week's episode will be called
dear.
again, ladies. Our strength is killing us. And the topic will be continuing from last week's about mental health, but we're specifically talking about the labels of the strong black woman and black men don't cry and what that's doing within our community and to the mental health of our community. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to read a line, and it's from Biggie's song Suicidal Thoughts in 1994.
Rest in peace, Biggie.
So there's going to be some swearing, so Facebook don't be trying to shut me down.
Don't shut us down.
Right?
Don't kill our shine, all right?
They're trying to say. Okay.
Go ahead.
So basically, the line that I'm reading, again, Suicidal Thoughts by Biggie in 1994. The stress is building up and I can't. Yo, I'm on my way over there, man. I can't believe suicide is on my fucking mind. I want to leave. I swear to God, I feel like death is fucking calling me. But no, you wouldn't understand. Wow. So this is from 1994, and I don't know if anybody here was a Biggie fan, but I was a Biggie fan. And back in the day, Biggie was probably one of the hardest rappers coming out of New York, right?
Most damn.
Right? So then you've got in 1994 Biggie talking about suicide. And I went back when I was researching for the show, and there's a ton of hip hop songs where men are talking about their mental health, but they're doing it and they're putting in their music because that was an outlet for them. Because often you're not sitting down talking about it with your boys, right?
It's like a therapy session that they can, express themselves and not have to worry about, they may feel embarrassed because black men are strong. Black men don't cry.
Yeah, I mean, this is why the whole, medicating culture has started.
Yes.
We can't talk about it, so we have to numb it. And what's better for numbing than drugs?
Drugs. And alcohol, right? Yep. That's a huge thing. So I'm going to read something here, and then we're going to really go into our discussion because this is a big topic. So there's a couple of things I'm gonna read here, and one is specifically about black women and what we're expected to be, and black men and what we're expected to be. Okay. And so as black women, we are expected to be impenetrable, twice as good as our white counterparts, and to never appear fragile. That's a luxury we cannot afford to have in a world that already perceives us negatively. When a woman has no choice to be strong all the time without a chance to breathe, anything that isn't related to fulfilling all the roles that are needed are suppressed, such as sadness or pain, because it's deemed as weakness. And we're going to delve into that. Now, for black men, acknowledging pain and showing emotion is considered soft or feminine. Weakness is to be driven out through beatings and ridicule. Male expressions of emotions become reserved for certain occasions like death of a mother or the birth of a child. Every other life event is supposed to be met with the same stoicism and that sustained them in the field. So for those who don't know what stoicism is or being stoic, so being stoic or stoicism is the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings without complaint.
Yeah. What are we, robots? I mean,
Yes,
well,
right?
I mean, we can go
Is that
back
what society
to,
sees us
well,
as?
yes, because we have to remember.
I guess so.
I mean, should I just go there
Yes,
right
go
now?
there.
Right, let's go there,
So
girl. Go ahead.
we have to remember to look at our history. So our history basically started off in oppression, in slavery. Our ancestors were brought here to do the jobs that are of robots.
True.
So the idea of emotion, the idea of feeling, the idea of even reading and creating art was looked down upon because it was like, no, please do not show us that you're a human right now. So you better not be having feelings and crying or
True.
laughing or doing
Showing any kind of
anything.
emotion.
Yes. So
Wow.
we are looked at, even to this very day, we've abolished slavery, a lot of us have abolished the poverty and a lot of generational curses, but we are still looked at by the outer society as people that just are out there to work and do. You do what I tell you and you shut up, you do your job, and then maybe I will give you some food or here's some designer clothes or some frivolous thing that doesn't actually matter.
Right.
Rather than giving us leadership, ownership, they give us things that are materialistic, things that will burn up in a fire. And, and that's it. So yes, short answer, society does look at us as
They look at us as robots.
Because if you're getting beaten in the fields when you are out there picking cotton and everything else, of course you're not going to cry. You are going to, what do we say in our community? Man up. You've got to man up. You can't show a sign of weakness. And so, yes, our history does show that is how we've had to be. And as black women, when we look at our black men being taken away, and what happens to our families when the black men are in jail, and what happened when Bill Clinton did the 3 strikes rule. I'm going US with you here, and how carding is affecting our community. We can acknowledge that all of those things change the dynamics of the black family, and therefore the black woman had no other thing but to be strong.
Exactly.
Because she had to be there for the kids, she had to be there for the parents, she had to be there and do all of that. Now, the issue I personally have with these 2 labels is I get what the outside world expects of us.
Right.
I absolutely understand that I cannot show fear. I cannot break. I understand the idea even of white fragility. And for those of you, we were talking about white fragility. We talk about it every time a white woman cries, the Red Sea parts. Right? Like, white fragility is such a thing that when white women are accused of anything or anything happens and they cry, it's like, oh my God, the sea opens. But we're not supposed to cry. We're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be, as it said, stoic. We're supposed to be all of that.
That's it.
And so we're out there in the outside world, and when we leave our houses, I have to decide what mask I'm going to put on.
Right. Exactly.
There's a mask. Which mask do I need to put on today? Because I now have to face the outside world, and I need to put my mask on. My problem, however, with all of that is when I'm amongst my peers, my people, my family, I should be allowed to take the mask off.
Absolutely.
I would agree with that.
And you should not be judged for that.
And
you should be able to take off that mask and just be Toshiba, and we should love you the same, if not even more, because you're just being you.
Because I should be in a space where I'm allowed to be me. So I get in the world, I'm always on the defensive.
Right.
I have to be on the defensive because I know what's out there in the world. But my home, my figurative home, my literal home is where I should be allowed to take this mask off and be free. However, within our community, we're not allowing this to happen. We're not allowing our male children and our female children to express these emotions that they're emotions. We have them.
We have them.
So,
and we relate to them so strongly. I totally agree with what you're saying. It's like, for example, when a cute little black boy has a rough day at school, maybe they were picked on or something, they go home. Like you were saying, when a child is in their home, they should be able to say, Mommy, Daddy, this happened to me. And they should be allowed to cry and let those emotions out. And their parent can comfort them and say it's going to be okay. So forth, so forth, so forth. Instead, the parent is so used to also having this mask on, they don't take their mask off either. So their kid has never really seen them show any emotion.
Right.
So the kid's like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother saying anything to my mom or my dad because they're going to say, well, man up.
Well, and I mean, we've
It's
given
just
ourselves,
so sad.
I mean, I'm going to go back and, I don't know, this might make some of you all mad, so don't hate
Well,
me.
it's
But,
an opinion. That's it, right? It's not typical.
We've taken on white supremacy and not even realized we've taken it on.
Well, girl, go there. Go there. That's true. Just drop the mic right now.
We have taken the idea of black people can take anything because they're black, and we've put that on ourselves, and we expect that of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, I mean, even if you take a walk through Black Twitter, for instance, and it's the same, people aren't on Black Twitter talking about how, I'm really sorrowful, I'm really sad right now. They take everything and make it a joke.
Yeah.
They take everything and make it funny. Like, there's no one saying, man, I'm sorry that you are having a bad day. Like,
exactly.
Dude, I'm sorry that you lost your friend in, a shooting or due to police
brutality.
I want you to know that as a black sister or a black brother, I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. That is not what you're seeing on Black Twitter.
No.
What you're seeing is a bunch of GIFs and other things that are like, haha, it doesn't matter what the blue want to do to us. We good. Like, and I'm not saying that that's not okay, but if we keep on putting that out there, and that's all we're seeing, that's what our young black boys are seeing, that's what our black girls are seeing, and they're never going to know that, hey, you know what, it's okay to come home and bawl your eyes out because
it's
you had a bad day.
absolutely okay.
And it doesn't make you a sissy.
No, it doesn't make you any less of a person.
It doesn't make you weak. Being vulnerable is actually good for your body, it's good for your mind.
It's important.
And it's important. But we're not seeing that displayed. And that's our fault.
That is
it is our fault.
Which is what I brought back.
Yes.
I get that we're on the defensive, and Carcia made a great point. I'm going to read a quote. And for the men who watch this show, I found this online magazine that's called Abernathy, and we can put it in the quotes. It's actually a magazine specifically for black men, and there was a quote in it from an article called The Trouble with Being a Strong Black Man. And the quote says, it's impossible to be a fully functioning human without embracing every emotion that dwells within you. To limit your emotions limits your life. You got to understand suppression of an emotion. You're suppressing sadness. You're suppressing anything but anger.
Right.
Because again, in our community, there's this idea that anger is okay. It's for the outside and for the inside. I can be angry. I have been, I will tell you, I have taken on this strong black woman role, and that really affected my mental health.
Yes.
To this day.
Yep.
Every time I'm enduring something, I just go.
Yep, that's it. I
sat in therapy and I tell my therapist, I don't have time for this. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, there's too much going on in my world. I don't have time. You want me to feel, okay, well, when I felt it sucks and I don't like that anymore. So I'm just going to go back to go. Go.
Right.
Everything is go, because I'm like, I've got my child. I'm a single mother. I've got to do this. I've got to work. Now my business. I've got my mom. I list off all of these things that I have. And none of that is about me showing any emotions because I don't have time for that. But you made a point where we're talking about it is to have people acknowledge us as human beings.
Yeah. So I do feel that if our society, they have to look at us like we are hard stones, and they have to look at us in a way that is unhuman. Because if they start looking at us as we're humans, they're going to have to start respecting us like they respect each other. They're going to have to start referring to us the way they would refer to our white friends. They would have to say, miss, ma'am. They would have to,
God forbid.
Prince always said that the reason why he told his sister to
call
name
her son Sir
is because this will be the first time a black man's been called
about
Sir.
Damn time
Like, so there's a level of respect that we're not getting because we're not seen as human. And if you see me crying, if you see me weak and vulnerable, you would have to admit there's a human over there. And I have to feel empathy for that human. And this is a thought, this is an idea that is not, again, it's not popular in the society outside. The society outside is used to Housewives of Atlanta.
Strong black
they're
women.
Used to strong black women yelling at each other, turning over
laughing
tables,
loud and having a great time.
And I'm not saying anything about those reality shows.
What up, Nene?
I'm all about
Team
sisters
Nene,
going
yo.
out and getting their money because
Team
they're making
Nene
a
all
lot
the
of money for these TV shows. So shout out to them. However, they're not showing us, when Nene's had a bad day and she's just literally just crying. I was actually shocked at how much coverage her
she was allowed to show emotion.
I was like, this is
My
nice
God.
to see that they're showing a black woman actually sorrowful over her husband. This is not something that we film. This is not something that we see on TV. And again, until society stops seeing us as the entertainer, we're here to entertain. We're here to do what we need to do to make you happy. That is always going to be the thought that we have. And it's always going to be projected on our community.
Yep.
And we are always going to think that of each other too.
Definitely.
Which brings me to another quote. And this is actually, this is taken from an article, from a book. And again, I'll put these quotes in the thing. Taken from a book, Riot. And the article was called The Complex Narrative of the Strong Black Woman. So the quote goes, "The danger of the legend of the strong black woman is that it excuses everybody else from responsibility. Oh, she can handle it because she's strong. It suggests that she doesn't need help, that she doesn't require support, that she not only can but should be able to handle it all without a word of complaint. It buys into the harmful stigma surrounding black women and mental illness. The stigma that says that a strong person cannot suffer from a mental illness, and if black women are strong, then we certainly don't." Right? So there's always this narrative. Strong people don't suffer. Strong people, and of course we've had to be strong people. And I really want to focus a lot on the men today, because there is a lot of attention that is brought to women and this idea of this, again, the legend of the strong black woman.
Right.
But we often are not talking about the impact of male stereotypes and stigmas and labels and all of these things on our black men, because they are hurting too. And it is incumbent on us as black women to support our black men when they are going through that.
It's funny you bring that up, that's what you're saying now, Sheba. Remember, and this is so dry, but it brings tears to me even now. As a kid, we all watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes, absolutely.
Who could forget that episode?
With Will and his father.
Okay.
Girl.
And as a kid, and I remember as a kid, growing up, once again, you don't see black men cry, but when you saw that scene, and I was like, oh my God, why is he like, whoa? And that's when it sunk deep that this man is crying and he's black. And it stung me as a child because you're not used to seeing that.
Yeah.
And someone put up recently on Instagram and I saw it again and I was just like, yeah, this still gets me.
So if you guys don't know what the episode is, there is an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Will's father comes to visit. And he makes all of these plans with his father to go on the road with him because it was an opportunity for them to bond again.
Yeah.
And his father basically goes to Uncle Phil and says, well, I'm not going to be able to do this with Will, so tell him bye. Peace out. Like, abandoning him once again. Abandoning him once again. And in the scene, I don't remember Will's exact words, but he has this moment with Uncle Phil.
Why doesn't he want me?
And he basically says, like, why doesn't he want me? Why doesn't he love me? And he starts crying. It's a very, very profound scene.
Will Smith, who's an excellent actor, as we all know, he really displays the,
it's okay.
His body is reacting like, I don't want to cry, but I need to
because
cry.
he's not there like this.
That's all right, man. That's fine. It's all right, man.
And even when Uncle Phil goes to hug him, he's
still
struggling with, I'm gonna cry, and I've never done this before. It wasn't only that moment he was crying about. He was crying about all the time.
All the time. It's like what you're saying with, having it built up. It's like when you put, don't try this at home, kids. When you put an explosive, hairspray in the microwave. Turn on the micro and the pressure, it's going to blow up. And that's what happened in that scene. All the years of his father not being there, all the suppression that we ourselves, especially for a black man, all the things they've gone through, and they finally have a moment to express and just let that out. Oh my God.
And then we say,
And
Men
we
up.
say,
Men up. I've heard many conversations with Black women where they will talk about
I think I even
the
said it this
idea. No, we probably do.
I think I even said it like yesterday.
And we
to my
need
dad.
to change
I need to
our
stop that.
language, right? We
do.
talked
We
about
do.
that. Like,
We
you
do.
cannot, like, I have to think about the fact that if I'm not supporting them, who will?
Girl.
If I'm not able to support my Black boyfriend, I ain't got one, but that's another story.
Girl, that was a
the
three-part
Black men,
story.
right? The Black men in my life, if they can't come home and have solace in my arms to be able to say the rest of the world hates us, except when we're entertaining, dancing, and singing "What Up NBA All-Star Weekend," right? They gonna love all of us this weekend.
They love us this weekend.
They love us this weekend. They love all
Because we're entertaining them.
because that's what we do.
That's what we
That's
do.
right.
We're in
That's
our
the
lane.
that we're supposed to be
We're in our
in.
lane.
Right?
So as long as we stay in our lane, they're happy.
So I can listen. I know what it's like to be a Black woman. I do not know what it's like to be a Black man. I'm not even gonna pretend I know what to be a Black man. But I can tell you this. I was telling you guys about I take road trips with my daughter, and we were taking a road trip to North Carolina when the Philando Castile thing happened. We had gotten to North Carolina, I think, a day or so. I think it was before it had happened. So we got into North Carolina, and my daughter and I, we have a rule. If we are on these road trips and we stop at a gas station, a diner, or wherever, and we do not see Black people, we are leaving.
Keep rolling.
And if there's not a minority person, I don't care. If
Keep
there's not
going.
an Indigenous person, an Asian person, anybody
Doesn't
that
matter.
is that is non-white, we are leaving.
Leave.
Yeah.
We're like, this is not where we're supposed to be.
No.
And I remember the fear and the anxiety I felt driving back from North Carolina, coming back to Toronto. After this had happened, my daughter and I had to have an actual talk about this is what we're doing. Like, we filled up the gas. Like, we wanted to, very short bathroom breaks.
Right.
And I'm a Black woman.
Oh boy.
This is what Black men deal with
Every
on a daily
single day.
basis.
Turns up
You
to
are
about
driving
every
in your
single
car,
day.
and every time, this goes back to the PTSD.
Yes.
You're driving in your car, and every whoop whoop, every light, everything, anything
like-
that looks like you have
tense up.
even when you're doing nothing
Nothing
wrong.
wrong. You could be just standing there on the corner, just waiting to cross the street.
So, that actually reminds me of a time when, back in the day, I don't know if people remember, there was a time when there were some threats against the CN Tower.
Yes.
And that day, I was at my workplace, and we were supposed to do a scavenger hunt for, team building at the CN Tower.
Okay.
Luckily, and let me tell you, if you're working at a place where there is a person of color on your HR team, you need to go to their office and say thank you for being here. Because we luckily had, our director of HR was a woman of color.
That's good.
And she personally walked over to me and another guy who was also Black and said, guys, today is supposed to be our scavenger hunt at the CN Tower. But here's the problem. There are a bunch of cops that are all over that place scanning, and they're just there in their cars sitting there scanning and being extra cautious of the area.
See you guys now.
So she
scavenger hunting.
She said to us, she's like, I don't know about you guys, but do you think it's okay for us to be sneakily
around,
walking
and looking
around
through bushes,
the tower? And I was like,
Looking like we looking for something.
Looking for
so
before
I
you
said
put
to
that
her, I
bomb?
was like, is it too late to cancel? She's like, never. And they canceled it.
Good.
Based on our thoughts and experiences, I was like, listen, ain't no cop gonna be okay with me or my African friend walking around the CN Tower
Looking like this.
Through the bushes.
when they're expecting bombs to be.
Yeah, they're like,
in the
that's
CN
suspect
Tower.
number one right there. They come and find you two. Okay.
So she was sensitive to our thoughts because she's like, listen, it's hard enough for me as an Indian woman, so I can only imagine what it's like for my friends here who are Black. And this is a thing that, again, for everybody else, it goes over the head. For our, Caucasian friends, they don't realize that, listen, man, no offense, but I don't want to go into a bar with a bunch of police officers sitting there
Not
off
gonna
duty.
happen.
Don't we see what happened to the last guy that was just walking around and off-duty cops, all of us just out of the blue
Man is blind.
Decided it's time to beat the hell out of this child. And
off duty.
You're off duty. Like, it's not even your job.
It's your job.
Now.
What the hell are you doing?
Well, clearly it was their job. They felt that.
They felt because the child was black.
Threatened by a young
I don't know about y'all, but are you all out there doing the hardest of work 100% when you're not at work?
Maybe you are. I'm not one of them.
Just saying.
And we say all of this, and I'm going to go back to, listen, black men. And black women, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to anybody out here who is watching and is in love with, dates, is married to a black man. I'm specifically talking about black men. If you cannot allow them to show emotion in your household, you are now the problem.
They have to feel safe with you.
My home is my solace.
Yes.
When I have to deal with the outside world, when I come home, I don't want to deal with no bullshit.
No.
Right? This is my biggest thing, right? I don't want to deal with bullshit. If I'm going to have to argue, fuss, fight, and everything in between, I'm good. I'm straight. Because I have everything to do when I go out. And again, I'm a black woman. I still look behind me when cops are coming.
Girl!
When I'm driving and I'm like, I tense up.
Yeah.
And I'm a black woman. I got these. Okay,
yeah.
They have gotten out, by the way, it says Toronto versus everybody else. But I have gotten out of situations because of these. And I'm a black woman, and I come out my hands, and I've done nothing.
You've done nothing.
I've done nothing. So as a black man, with everything that they have to go and deal with, the idea that they cannot come into their households and be supported by the women and the people and the family in their lives, because this idea of this black male strength.
Black men don't cry.
Black men are not supposed to cry. Crying is weakness. Crying is this. Crying is that. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
When I get a man, okay, and if he is in a moment when he needs to cry, I'm gonna let him cry.
I will be that tissue. Go ahead. Cry. Cry it out.
It's very healthy.
It's so healthy.
Have you ever had to? I've had it where I've been going through some stuff and I want to cry, but again, because I have owned this role of the strong black woman, where I'm holding it, my temple starts to hurt.
Yep.
I've had it where my temples are hurting because I'm feeling all of this emotion, this raw emotion, and I'm suppressed. I'm bearing it. I'm stomping out this emotion, and my temples are hurting. And so you made the point. What happens to a lot of black men? They react in violence.
Yeah.
They have substance abuse.
Yeah.
And violence towards themselves and the people in their life.
Yeah. Yep.
They turn to substance abuse. They turn to all of these other things to numb this pain that they're feeling, because in the community that they should feel the safest, they still can't express these emotions. And like you said, we've taken on this idea of what white supremacy and what we're expected to be, and we're holding on to it. And I'm sorry, guys, we need to stop being on the defensive.
We need to stop.
And go on the offensive.
Yeah.
We get it. I get it. Like, I'm dealing with some stuff right now. I get it. I know what it is like. I'm very clear as a black woman in the corporate world, in life, going through stores, being called a nigger when I'm at Dixie Value Mall,
having people following you up in the store when you're shopping, and it's like, dude, I have more money in my wallet than you have. Why are you following me?
Right? Going into, we get it. And so if I'm experiencing this, I'm gonna take my experience. I'm gonna double it for a black man.
Yep.
You gotta, a 6'5", a 6'3", a 6'2", tall, strapping, whatever. And clearly I like 6 foot. But you've got these men walking around into the world, and to the rest of the world, they're not kings. They're not whatever.
No.
They're thugs. They're criminals.
Yep.
And they walk out with that every single day. And then they come into, again, figuratively or literal home.
Yes.
And they're not able to say, that shit was tough today.
I hurt today. I need you to, I need your help. I need you to just the same way how your friend was there for you.
Yeah.
When you just needed someone to be there. Not even to say anything, just be there. That's all that a black man is asking for. Just be there.
Again, like,
That's
obviously black woman, not a black
really
man.
sad.
But a lot of the ridicule that I got from my brethren when I decided to go into therapy was kind of bad, guys. And this is coming from my brethren. I can only imagine what it's like for a black guy that says, well, I'm going to go to therapy.
So I'm not feeling so great today, and I think I need to go talk to someone other than the Lord.
Right. Well, yeah, because the Lord is telling the person himself, go to therapy. Jesus is saying it.
Go
to therapy.
Right?
Like,
the Lord told you to go to therapy.
There's this perception that we're supposed to just have it together. Because asking for help is like being a weak white person.
Because we're black and we're strong. So we shouldn't have to ask for help.
Ever.
And also, too, I do want to clarify, because some people think that I'm mad at Black Twitter. I have no anger towards Black Twitter at all.
Black Twitter, we think, is great.
It's needed.
Black Twitter is needed. It's a voice. We're doing this show, so obviously we're for people saying whatever the hell they want. I am just saying that sometimes Black Twitter, if you are not emotionally stable, if you are going through something, it is not a place where you can feel that, per se, sometimes you're not being supported. If I need a good laugh, definitely Black Twitter. But Black Twitter is such a great and big thing that it even seeps into normal Twitter. You know what I mean? It's not a sanctioned little private area. It's huge. I mean, Entertainment Tonight will pull content from Black Twitter, which is another story because ain't nobody getting paid for nothing.
Thank you.
But I am just saying that Black Twitter can also be a place where Black people can feel like they're supported and not just being laughed at, especially if they do choose to show any emotion, which they're totally allowed to do because it's Twitter.
But here's the thing, and I'm going to go back because I agree. What happens with it is we turn our pain into entertainment. So we're going to go back to the entertainment. The barbecue Betty and the police Patty and all of that stuff. That, for the people who are experiencing it, it is a painful experience. You are at a park having a barbecue and police are being called on you because you're in a public space that you pay taxes for, having a barbecue with your family. So I get your point. What Black Twitter did was they turned that into something that we could laugh about later, right? So you see all the memes, the girl doing this and all of that. And yes, it brought attention. I love Black Twitter because it brings attention to crap that the regular media is doing.
That's it.
But that's not where we stop. We then turn it into an entertainment.
And that's what I mean. Like, okay, now we know about Karen, who's across the street making phone calls on just some people enjoying their life, having nothing to do with her. But after that meme is out there and it's floating around, what are we doing? This is a problem that someone needs to be, like, someone needs to say this is wrong, and someone needs to say, how do we change the narrative?
That's
how, and then we have a good laugh and then we have a solution. The problem is that at times we just laugh and then everybody leaves it aside. And that isn't helping us.
At all.
No.
But again, that's how we've been wired to deal with everything. We've been wired in a way that in order for us to get through and just survive, I talked about it last week. Me just waking up black, I have to wake up black every day.
We can't really change that.
I don't change it. I wake up black every day. And that alone is a lot for me because I understand when I go into the world, again, which mask am I putting on today? Which meeting am I going to? In front of who? Who am I speaking to? Who do I have to advocate for today? Do I have to advocate for myself? Am I advocating for my child? Am I advocating for the other Black person who might be like, who am I advocating for? I don't just get to go out and be Toshiba Monique Billings. God, I just gave y'all my full name. But I don't just get to go out and be that person.
Right,
I have to go out and be whomever I need to be in that situation to survive.
That's it.
And if I'm in a situation where I'm going out into the rest of the world and I have to put on all of these different masks, I just want to be able to come home and be vulnerable.
That's
and the issue, again, I'm going to come back, because this is how we change the narrative. We have to change the narrative. It's
on us.
Yeah, it is on us
Definitely.
to change the narrative. I'm not just going to blame the outside world. They
No.
are who they are. And quite frankly, you know, I said to a friend of mine yesterday who was a white male, I said, you know what? Our community is sick and tired of white fragility.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you how we feel, and I hope that you, when you are in rooms where I am not allowed, because I'm not invited into those rooms, that you can have this conversation with your white counterparts and let them know, even if it's just my words, this is what happens. So that's incumbent on them. We are not in those rooms, but we are in our own rooms.
Yes.
We are in our own homes.
That's right.
We are in our own situations. We have these platforms. So I'm going to say that I am sick and tired of being in a situation where we're constantly on the defensive and we need to be on the offensive. And part of being on the offensive is us changing the narrative ourselves. I'm going to say it again. If you love a black man in any way, shape, or form, you need to allow him to be vulnerable.
Definitely.
You need to create a safe space for him to be vulnerable. You have to tell him it's okay to be vulnerable. And quite frankly, that man may never cry, but at least he knows that in this place, this is where he can take down the mask. And imagine that tension again. You're driving, you're walking, you're being carded, you don't know, you're in the mall. I've had situations where I walk and I see a cop, I'm turning around.
Absolutely.
I'm good. I don't need this anymore.
Need that.
No.
Again, I'm a black woman.
Yep.
So as a black man who has to walk
dear.
through this world, constantly knowing that, should I have a hoodie on? Should I not have a hoodie on? Where am I going? Should I have a 3-piece suit on? Okay, should I speak this way? Should I speak like this? Yo. Like, what am I, like, how do I have to present myself to this world so that I am seen as non-threatening?
Yeah, and again, it's this suppression of being who you are that is slowly killing us, not being allowed to be who we are. I remember growing up, you know, there a lot of people, I'm bringing up Prince again, a lot of people, you know, made fun of Prince because he was weird. And they were like, what kind of black guy is weird?
He was different.
And, you know, but then we had David Bowie, and I'm a big fan of both, where David Bowie's a white British guy, and he was weird. But he was allowed to be weird.
Because
people were like, he's a genius.
Yeah, he's a musical
and then
genius.
Prince, he must be some weird gay guy.
Because you wore.
And I'm like, wait a minute,
heels
hold
and lace
on.
pants.
Like, how is he weird, but David Bowie's okay?
Because as a black man, that's not how he was
not.
supposed to be.
Because black men aren't allowed to wear
No.
Cuban heels, and they're not allowed to wear,
especially in the 80s,
pants they're not allowed to wear.
you had to
skinny
look like
pants.
Public Enemy. You know, you had to look the part. Of a
and
black man.
That's suppression. That is suffocation. That is slow death.
That is. That is that, and I'm gonna go to another quote because you are so right. There's the suppression slowly kills you. It affects your mental health. It affects your organs. What this happens when you have substance abuse, your liver, your everything. You know, Lil Wayne talks about it, and I can go on and on with rappers and rappers. Lil Wayne talks about the fact that how much he has substance abuse to deal with the demons in his head.
Yep.
This constant substance abuse, but it's also an artistic outlet. So where does he put it? He puts it in his music.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys have been doing that. They're putting things in their music. They're pushing it out. When DeMar DeRozan came out and talked about his mental health, people were like, "Yo, that's why he can't bring the Raptors a championship."
Oh God.
That was responses that I heard.
Yeah, there were very little positive.
There was nothing but pure negative to the man.
And you know, for me, I was comforted by it, and I was like, good on him for being honest,
for being
about his
brave,
mental health, because
to talk about something like
I
that.
know what that's like. Many people that have suffered with it knows what it's like. But again, there's still a stigma. And again, I'm gonna say it based on white supremacy, that we cannot be weak
at all.
For a second.
So I'm going to go to this quote, and I got this. This is from, again, I do a lot of research, guys. So this is from Boys Don't Cry. It's a British Journal of Criminology. It's written by, it says Goody J, 1997. So in this research, it found that boys who aren't taught about their emotions exhibit a form of masculine bravado, or fearlessness that can manifest into reactive aggression against themselves and others. It is as if black males try to avoid their own vulnerability and replace it with a sense of masculinity that's reinforced by society. Right. Let me read that again, okay? Because this is an important part. Again, it is as if black males try to avoid their own vulnerability and replace it with a sense of masculinity that's reinforced by society. So I'm going to go back to DeMar DeRozan because I am a huge basketball fan. Again, happy NBA All-Star Weekend. And again, when DeMar DeRozan came out about his mental health, the comments I heard, and I'm not saying I did not hear positive comments, but the comments I heard from our community is, this is why his ass couldn't bring us a championship. This is why, and you understand, can only imagine in the public eye. I knew how hard it is for me, and I'm not in the public eye, to have come out about my mental health.
Yes.
So DeMar DeRozan, The Rock, Wayne Brady, all these Kid Cudi, all these black men, and I got a list of them that I can read off. Kanye,
up till this day,
right? Who come out about their mental health, and as a community, instead of saying, "Oh my God, thank you for talking about it, and let's talk about this in a positive way," we turn it around and said, "That's why they're so crazy, and that's why they're so this, and that's why they're so that, and that's why they're so this." Instead of saying, this is a safe space. And if we're not creating a safe space and we're always blaming others, we have to take accountability for the fact that our own actions are the reason our black men are in a position where they feel that they need to exhibit sometimes what is this fake masculinity.
True.
Well, you look at, for instance, and I always think about, the young male, 14 years old, and they need to find a gun. Where does that come from? Where does that thought come from that they need to get their hands on a gun at any cost? Why do they choose to pursue violence over anything else? Sports, science, anything, like any other interest. Their first thought going into manhood is, I need to weaponize myself. There's something going on deeper than, I just want to sell drugs. Like, that's not it.
No,
that's not it. It's a reaction to this idea of, I need to man up. I need to be a man and take care of my business. And I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to fight with words because that's what sissies do. I need to do what a man is going to do, and I'm going to find a way to get a gun at all costs.
Because that's how I show that I'm a man.
That's it.
And that's a problem. And this is not because of the others, and I'm going to refer to them as the others today. We have to take accountability that when you are telling a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old little black boy, and I can go on with the ages, that when he cries, he needs to man up. What is it about being a man?
You can man up at the age of 2.
Well, it's like,
man up. Man. You gotta be strong. Like, you gotta,
come on.
You know what?
The message
man up when you're a baby.
Yeah. It's like, when you get hit in the head with something or you stub your toe and you've got to react.
Yeah,
you have to.
You must. Have you ever been hit and then you have to just stand there and be like...
You take it girl, okay.
That's not good for you.
No.
So the idea that we're doing this daily or we're doing this constantly and you think it has no effect on your nerves, your brain, the way how you behave, the way how you interact with your loved ones... Now wonder why.
Oh,
God. If you aren't giving yourself the allowance to be you, if you're not giving yourself the allowance to react, you're gonna implode within yourself.
And that's the self-destruction that, that's a rough one.
Well, we've lost so many black men.
So many.
This very thing. Whether it's through mental illness, taking their own lives, or even having heart attacks, having
Yeah,
strokes.
they're dying earlier than they need to.
In their 30s. It's like you're having a stroke in your
30s?
That's crazy.
It's not normal.
And it's not normal. Why? Because of all of the suppression. And it's funny because, we had a conversation about, and we're going to talk about the jail system and the impact that the jail system has to have on our community, because we already know that we disproportionately go to jail for longer, for less crime. Now, let's think about this. You are in the outside world. You are free. I'm free. See, I'm getting up right now.
Yeah.
I'm moving around. Life is good. I'm great. Right? You take that freedom away from me. So this is where I'm at. This is my little cell. Maybe this is the only room I have, and someone's telling me what to do, when to go to the bathroom. And sometimes I'm in solitary confinement. I don't know what time of the day it is. I don't know what date it is. I don't know what month it is. I don't know anything. So I'm now in this box. This is the box I'm in. And then I am let out into the free world again. There is no one there who is greeting me saying, hey, your mental health.
Yeah, let's sit
Should
down
we
and
sit down and talk about how this experience has been on you? Should we help you to find resources to make sure that you can now reintegrate yourself into this world?
You're gonna have problems finding a job.
So you're gonna have
mental problems, physical problems,
right? So there's no one there doing that.
No.
And then I am this man, and I go out back into my own community. They have a welcome home party for me. We're busting liquor, having Henny, having whatever. There are not many people asking me, yo,
how are you doing?
How are you doing? You just had to endure, I don't care if it's 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, especially for those who end up in solitary confinement because they're fighting their way through to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, girl.
And, when we talked about this, I brought up for some reason, I have deep sympathy and, concern about people that have served time in prison and then are let out. And then they're just kind of floating around society like, huh?
And society expects them to just
it's like there are no therapists in line waiting to take this person, this ex-convict, and help them through this process. Sometimes their women leave them. The woman's not there anymore. And even if she is there, she is stressed. She's overworked. She's been taking care of the kids. She is not in the mood to now sit down and counsel, her partner. So there's all these things happening, and there is no one there to say, yo, I see that you were in this distressful situation. You've got PTSD because you've been locked up in a dark cage for 5 years or however long. Because even a week is a long
time.
And there is no one here to say, I'm really sorry about your experience. I'm really sorry what you went through.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. How can I help you to get through these emotions? And what can we do, even as a community, to help you integrate into society and feel okay again? Because you were in a place where you literally couldn't walk down the hallway without some guy either spitting bad words at you or wanting to fight you.
Yep.
Constantly on the defensive.
Constantly. Your nerves are shot. Like every minute, even in the night when you're sleeping in the prison, you hear people screaming and yelling. You hear the officers running to someone's cell because they're trying to commit suicide. Like, this is not a normal place. And you mean to tell me that they just throw the person out and they figure, Josh is going to be all right. He's going to go back into the workforce and he's going to be okay.
And then again, they come back to the community, they come back to the house, and they're not able to express these emotions that I can only understand. I'm going to give you guys some insight into my life. My ex-husband was in the U.S. military. He got in at 18. I think he left 30-something. He went to Afghanistan. He did quite a bit of tours when, weapons of mass destruction, when they were only looking for oil. My ex suffers from PTSD. Very serious PTSD. On top of PTSD, he lost 30% of his hearing. There's a lot that happened during his time. And if you don't know, The military actually, I'm going to go
Girl.
into it.
Yeah, they're another one.
The military is very specific about what communities, I'm just going to say this, what communities that they go into.
Girl.
And they generally go into a lot of minority communities to go and recruit.
Of course.
So in my relationship with my ex-husband, I experienced a lot of emotional abuse. And sometimes it got physical. Because he would go from the sweetest, most amazing man in the world to literally sitting and yelling at me for an hour. I said nothing. I would say nothing. Because, when he was done, you know what I'd say? Are you done? Do you want to talk about it now? I was enduring some of the worst spewed things you could imagine a man could say to a woman. And I actually sat there and I let him talk. And I let him do whatever. And as much as that affected me, I had to put myself in a place that this man has seen some things, has done some things. And when he got back to the United States, no one said, here, by the way, let us help you sit down and tackle what you had to see, what you had to endure. None of that happened. And so as horrible. His wife, I got the brunt of the crap. However, as his wife, I was the one who had to say, are you good? Do you want to talk? And I'm telling you guys, it would switch like this. The man would go, like it was bad. And then when I was done, and I'd say, you done? Do you want to talk now? Do you want to actually have a conversation? He would turn, and I'm telling you, could see it was like his shoulders went like this, so he was just like this.
Back to normal.
I learned in that moment that my anger, because I have my own anger problems, that my anger didn't work in that situation. And as terrible as some of the things that he used to say to me responding back with anger wasn't going to help it. Now listen, I am not condoning emotional abuse. Let me just clear or physical abuse. That is not what I'm saying. So if anybody's listening, that don't think that I'm condoning that. But I knew in that situation, because of what he had to endure, what he had to see, what he had to experience in the outside world, in this world that clearly does not care about our men, I had some responsibility to try to help him through it and let him stop and understand, of course, you know that behavior is inappropriate, and we need to figure out how we're going to help you get through this.
Right.
Absolutely.
It was, I was the only one doing it because no one else was helping him do this.
Right.
So imagine, again, being confined in a cell, being confined in a place, walking every day, being
seeing
black,
your friends
being
get blown up,
seeing your friends die in front of you, seeing
them bleed out,
seeing all of these things happening, like hearing these things that are happening, you know, going through school and being told you're not good enough, wondering, oh, did you get here on a scholarship? Oh, you don't play ball? Oh, you're black and you don't play ball? Oh, you didn't get here on a ball scholarship?
The stereotypes go on.
I mean, you know the story of Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a very gifted child.
He was.
Very smart. And when he was a little boy in school, he was told, as smart as he was, he could have been a lawyer, he could have been a judge, and thank you, Lord, that he found a calling in being who he was. But from the moment that they realized he was a genius, they tried to suppress him.
Yep.
They told him, you know, Jesus was a carpenter. You should be a carpenter too. And I'm like, so you're stopping him from his full-on purpose.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with being a carpenter. My father is an electrician. I love the trades. I think blue collar is actually one of the most rewarding careers you can have because you make your own money. You own a skill that can't be taken away. What you've gotten here, nobody can take away from you. Remember that. However, I was like, so you're telling him to go do this, go be a nurse, go be a this, go be a that, go be whomever, go be this, rather than what he wanted to do. He wanted to write. He wanted to look at art and dictate law. Like, that's what he wanted to do, but he was being told very early on that you can't go do this because you're a black boy. And these are the things that are even happening today.
Happens to us.
2020, people are telling you that you can't do something because you look like this.
I remember lots of times, especially when I was with the high school I went to. When I was in middle school, I wanted to go to a certain high school, And my teacher told me straight up, oh, no, Chantel, we should have you go to this other school. I won't say the name of either school. But it was basically the school that's meant for children who are minorities, which is fine, but they have learning disabilities. And she was really pushing for me to go to this school. And, you know, I think this was like my last year of grade 8. So I was like maybe like 13. So I came home, I told my mom, and this is why parents have to
advocate for your children.
I got a mom and a dad. And I thank God for them every day. They went off. And listen to me, let me tell you something, Chantel. If you want to go to that school, then fine. But let me tell you something. You go to the school you want to go to originally. Do not let anyone tell you because of how you look where they feel you should be. And I thank God that I ended up going to the school that I wanted to go to. But the same way that, like, for some reason, as soon as they see our color and they see that you have a little bit of a genius, you know, gem inside of you, they're like, oh, that kid is black, and you know what? Or that kid is Indian. That kid is biracial. Yeah. I don't want them to go past Samantha over here, who's a cute, nice little white girl, but I don't want her to be, you know, put under a rug because of little Chantel over here. So I'm going to just kind of suppress you down a bit.
Well, and I'm going to go to something ridiculous, but I'm thankful that this is no longer a thing. Back in the 1980s, for any music fans out there, they used to have a category called Black Best Artist.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Rather than just best artist,
it was Black Best
because
Artist.
They said that, well,
American
the
Music
Black
Awards did it, Grammys did it,
are usually better than the other artists, and we don't want to commingle. We don't want the white bands. We don't want white bands to have to compete with Michael Jackson.
No, because Alabama has to win the white category.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put all the blacks in their own category: best black artist, best black vocalist, best black whatever, and then all the other ones are like best artist, best album.
That was in the 80s.
Guys, this is true. You can go
on
YouTube right now and watch a few
of the
best black artists categories go by. You'll probably see Diana Ross and Michael Jackson
and Prince and Janet
and all those peeps. So,
and we wonder why we have a disproportionate number of mental health. I'm going to read another stat. Mm-hmm. I am cognizant of the time. So there was something that was done. It was called the Black Experience Project, and this was actually done in Toronto. And so the Black Experience Project was the first ever comprehensive understanding of the diverse communities that make up the GTA's Black population, and through exploring the lived experiences and views that speak to individuals and collective strengths, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just going to read what it showed. It showed that the Black population is one of the most stressed in the Greater Toronto area. In addition, parts of the Black community have a 60% increase in serious mental health problems such as psychosis. Again, I'm going to read that again.
Please do.
So again, this is the Black Experience Project. It showed that the Black population is one of the most stressed in the GTA. In addition, parts of the Black community have a 60% increase in serious mental health problems such as psychosis.
Wow.
So guys, we are suffering in our community. And if you watched last week's episode, you heard all of our angel stories about, you know, our mental health journey and living with mental health. We are suffering in our community. We are hurting. We are in pain. We need to change the definition of strength in our community.
Absolutely.
Because they're not going to do it for us.
No. They won't do it because really, think about it, it's not their responsibility. They don't care.
No.
They are too busy caring about their stuff. We need to care about our stuff. And that goes for caring for our children, caring for our brothers, caring for our sisters, caring for our parents, whomever it is. We have the power to change the narrative. So, the platforms that we have, let's not just use them to make people laugh. Not saying I have a problem. Listen, my Netflix account is full of stand-up comedy. I enjoy comedy. I befriend comics because I love to laugh. It's a good part of my therapy.
Definitely. Laughing is good for the soul.
But if you have a platform and you're using it, why not do something like what we're trying to do here? We decided, let's try to change the conversation.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, we've got these accounts, we've got these Instagram accounts, we've got our businesses. Let's put our time into something that can help our community. And you can do the very same. Always laugh, always be happy, always do that. But at the same time,
acknowledge the pain.
Acknowledge the pain. Allyship is not going to come out of the blue.
No.
Allyship comes because we were so loud about it that an ally said, wow, these Black people are really onto something. I want to help. I'm going to start letting my friends know that Black people are smart and they can say words like phenomenal, and they can say, you know, they can speak proper English, and they can hold great jobs, and they can start great businesses.
Absolutely.
Allyship comes from us influencing them.
We are the influencers.
We are.
We always have been. Our style,
Clearly.
our everything.
Our style, our dance moves, our voices.
We are influencers.
Everything that Black people do.
We need to start owning that.
Owning it and being proud of it.
Let's own our community.
Absolutely.
And let's start the narrative. Let's start looking at how can we change this conversation. Yes, we are being oppressed.
We get it.
Daily.
Every day.
Black men, we get it and we hear you. But we're the ones that are going to have to come together and say, what can we do?
To better ourselves. And
Absolutely.
it has to start with us. And I'm going to make 2 final points because I'm cognizant of the time. One is, you know, strength doesn't come through never feeling defeated. Strength comes from admitting defeat and then trying again.
That's it.
Like this suppression that we're having, this idea of strength is this, and I'm speaking to the women because again, it's the strong Black woman. It's okay to say, God, I was defeated. I'm tired.
I'm fed up.
I'm over this.
I need time
I
to
need time out.
I need time to
That's
grieve.
it.
I need time
That's it.
alone.
Absolutely.
I need time to go to the spa. I need time to go sit out on the deck and have
Just
no
zone
one bother
out.
me.
It's okay.
It's all right.
What do we say? Fall forward?
Fail forward.
Fail forward. It's okay.
It's okay. Women, it is okay.
It
And
is
men, it is
hella
okay
okay.
to cry. And women, I don't care if you're Black, white, yellow, or everything in between. If you are with a Black man, give them the space to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Give them that space. And Black men, do not be afraid to cry. Crying is not being weak. Crying is not being a sissy. Stop telling our young Black men to man up. A 2-year-old doesn't even know how to be a child yet.
Much more man up.
Much less telling them to man.
Go be a man.
How? Women, if your man is taken out of the household, stop telling your little boys they're now the men of the house. They are not. They're children.
Not. They're little
Stop
kids.
telling young Black boys when there are no men in the house that, you're now the man of the house. He is not. He's a child.
Not.
Everyone out there, if you want to, and that reminds me of Top Boy. I know.
Yes, please. Yeah.
But go on your Netflix account.
Oh, please look up Top Boy.
And go watch Top Boy and watch Summer House.
What? Yeah, watch them
both. It will show you what rhetoric like that causes in a family, in a household, and in a little boy's life. When he's told that he is now the man of the house and he has to make a way. See what happens.
They're not. They're boys.
They're kids. Let them be kids.
Let them be children.
Let them
have a normal childhood.
Please.
They should, like a little 5-year-old should not be thinking, well, I'm the man in the house now, so how do I take care of my mom?
He's not. He doesn't know how to take. Doesn't know how to take out his wee and pee properly.
Thank you.
Like, what are we talking about?
He's too busy looking at the next toy he can play with.
Like,
let him be a let him be.
Enough of that. And so I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it again. It's time to stop propagating these false narratives of strength and allow our men and women to be human.
Amen.
It's okay
We are human, and humans cry. If I got a cut right now, I'd be bleeding. And if she punched me in my throat, I'd probably start crying. It hurts like hell.
You're gonna react.
It's gonna hurt.
It's enough of this idea that we are these superhuman powers, and yes, that's what the world would like us. But in our community, let's allow, because the effects on our mental health. I read the stat: 60%. This is just in the Greater Toronto area.
Oh, I can only imagine
just in
why.
the greater Toronto area, it is causing 60% more mental health issues in our community as psychosis. We're not talking about depression. We're not talking about anxiety. We're talking about physiological, psychological impact on our life. So, that's where we want to end it. We are going to, of course, usually end with our, what our takeaway is. Next week, we're going to, give you a little insight. We're going to be talking about the impact on religion on the Black community, and what that's done. And, you'll get my promo videos and so forth coming up soon. But I'll start with Carcia. What is your takeaway from the show?
So my takeaway today is that I can start making changes in how we look at each other as a community by simply my language and simply the thoughts that I share. I think that if I change my narrative, if I change the way how I look at things and find better words to define what being a man is, having a strong character, being smart, being able to put out feelings that are genuine, those are the things that make a man. Nothing that has to do with strength. Nothing that has to do with, how can you protect me? Are you, these other things that are pushing men to maybe do things that aren't so great for them, but being more conscious of spreading what it truly is to be a man, which is to be genuine, which is to be good and kind.
Good one.
That's good. My takeaway is similar to what Carcia is saying, and also just to be, thankfully, because of the experiences we've all had with mental health, but to probably be even more helpful with Black men. And that goes for, even if you don't have a Black guy in your life, let's say as a boyfriend or husband, we all have Black guys that are friends. We all know Black guys, fathers, great friends, cousins, nephews. And to, be okay to say, hey, is everything all right? Send them those little texts that say, hey, you crossed my mind today. I just want to make sure you're okay. And just to check in with them. Yeah. And to once again, to just reinforce what we were saying, that for Black men especially, and for Black women, that it's okay to cry. It's okay to take off the mask, as we were saying, and to just let it out. Even if you are by yourself, and you come home, it's happened to me many times. I'll come home from a rough day at work or whatever, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to my room, I'm gonna close this door, I'm gonna grab this pillow, and I'm gonna let every painful emotion I feel right now out. And for me, anyway, I always feel so much better. Yeah. And it's important to just not be a robot. So that my takeaway is to just hone and to be that mattress, you could say, or that tissue for my Black brethren, to let them know it's okay to cry. It's okay to take down that heavy burden you're carrying and to just sit and relax. And if you need a shoulder to lean on, mine is right here.
Love it. Mine is very similar. It's to... there we go.
Sorry about that.
No.
Sorry, everybody.
That phone.
Hold on.
We're live. We're not
we
even
are live.
lying
So
to you.
there you go. There's no editing here. So mine will be to... it's incumbent on us to start with changing the narrative. Yes. It's not for others to change it for us. We have to change the narrative in our community. It starts with us, because if we are expecting others to do it for us, we'll be waiting for a very long time, right?
Definitely.
So we have to make sure that our community is the solace. Yes. Our community is the place, it's the safe space in which Black men and women are allowed to put down the armor and just be ourselves and have a moment. And sometimes that self cries, and sometimes that self is angry, but sometimes that is happy. Like, we have a range of emotions, and we need to create that safe space and that solace. For us to have that, it starts with us, because no one else is going to do it for us. And like we said, let's change the conversation. Yes. So that is my takeaway. And before I go, guys, you probably haven't ever seen me in a hat. And if my best friend's watching, I don't think she is, but if she watches, she never sees me in a hat. This hat is from her Castle Girl shop. So my wonderful co-host, they have an online store that they're starting. It's called Her Castle Girls Shop. Follow them on Instagram. This is where it's... Look at it. Okay, this is where this lovely hat came from, and this necklace as well.
I got all my necklaces coming
yes.
soon.
And this scarf, which
scarf.
will be listed for spring.
Perfect. So go to her Council Girls shop, and then you can see these wonderful merchandise. And again, next week we'll be talking about the impacts of religion on the Black community, and we are done.
We're done.
I guess that's
already.
it. I guess that's
It's
it.
kind of dry though how the time just goes.
I know. I do
like,
want to
wait,
thank
though.
everyone for participating.
Well, thank you for joining
Thank
us
you for joining
early.
Yes.
I know
This
we've
is good.
started on you 45 minutes before, but thank you for anyone who's joined us. Thank you for joining us early.
Thanks,
Please,
guys.
again, share. Let people know about the show. We want to spread the word. We want to spread
We do.
knowledge.
And share resources. Maybe some of our viewers may have a great resource that we can put into the links below.
Please do.
Please do
This
share.
is a space for you to share. We share with you. Please share with each other.
That's it.
And that's it. And what are we going to do? We are...
Rule the world, y'all.
I'm by myself.
Girl, what's wrong with me? Maybe we like hearing you sing. I don't know why you keep on stopping. Just